Hi, my name is Sally Bernard, an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer. Welcome to Call Me Zena, a true story into the spiritual realms. Join me as I sit and discuss the journey of self-discovery and awakening with the help of my spirit guides. It's time to trust your intuition. This is your inner knowings. Through questions and points of conversation, I can help others feel empowered. With the ability to touch people's past lives, I help others connect and not feel alone. Sit with me and call in live, 888-994-4995. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. It's Monday. Welcome to my show. I have a special guest today, my husband, Steve. Well, you're not really special. You're special to me, but you have been on my show a few times.
Thank you for the special part. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Okay.
Well, speaking of special, you are special.
Thank you.
And the people who have read your first book, when I say first because now we're getting close finally to your second book, and a screenplay for your movie. I'd like to read a poem, some prose that you created in your first book, and this one is called Hidden Within. Sometimes in the moment of turmoil, we cannot see the light. We must take time to look within. There is the answer. As humans, this is a difficult task. Pain or serenity, what do we choose? Do not judge yourself or others. We then go back to our pain. Look around, think, feel. We are not alone. There is so much help. Look once again to the miracle we have chosen. Keep going on this journey. Please try to remember. Keep asking for help. It is all around you. We are loved. We are blessed. Do not forget. We will find the true meaning. Do not give up. Seek and you will find. Zena. So that has special meaning, I think, to everyone, not just to you. But when you wrote that, what do you think you were trying to, what message were you delivering?
I was just writing, this was many, many years ago when everything was kind of being thrown at me all at once, my artwork, my prose, and actually I just have to say that that's the very first time I've ever heard anybody actually read my prose. I read it, but it had more meaning coming at that point to see what I actually wrote. It was hard to know at the time, Steve, exactly what I was writing. But as time went by, I realized that I was getting messages for myself, but not only for myself, for everybody that would want to listen to this. I believe there's deep meanings behind my prose. I didn't understand that. I was busy doing paintings, which I had no idea I couldn't draw. But today, I've settled down a little bit, and I see that they have given me so many messages in the past for which I'm very thankful for. That's my validation. Do I expect everybody to believe this? No, I don't. But for me, it's very real, and for the people that want to listen, my audience, and I'm very grateful. There are many people now that I'm sharing this with on the airways, that my message is not just for me, it's for everybody else that is listening.
I know that with your artwork, whenever you would finish a piece, Aldo would then analyze it and tell you what it really meant.
Right.
Did he do the same with the prose?
Not as much. I think maybe I wasn't ready. He used to Aldo, for people in my audience actually by now obviously knows who Aldo was. He's my guide, but we have many more new people now. He was my guide here. He passed away 2 years ago. He told me so much. But he didn't ever tell, it had to come from me, and then he would validate it. I didn't read too much of my prose. I put it in my book, but my artwork, yes, he used to tell me exactly what I was drawing.
By the way, if you have a question for Zena, for Sally, please call in at 888-994-4995, Studio A, or type a message if you're listening live on Facebook.
So we have a few people in the studio right now. Is there any questions that you'd like either for me or for Steve?
Sally, I wanted to bring up a question that has a lot to do with what's going on recently around us, where December has become a real interesting situation because everybody seems to be going in 100 different directions, and they're looking of finding a shortcut to why things did not work out this year. Do you have any kinds of words of wisdom that people should hold on to or think about in the coming year to sort of change that mindset?
Well, you know, that's a very, it's not an easy question to answer. I can say be positive, it's the way it's meant to be, but with all this turmoil in the world today, it's very, very difficult to understand that. But my message is, yes, I'm hearing we're upside down, so much is going on. Have faith, continue, because there is so much to, I can't say to be grateful for. When we turn on the news, we see these terrible, terrible things that are happening. But we're in a transition right now. That's the only way that I can say this. We may not, as humans, as I write in my prose too, we are human, we see what's going on. But there is reasons and causes and effect for a lot that's going on right now. Do we understand it? No. Do I understand it? Absolutely not. I can answer questions. I try to remain positive. That's my advice. Just try. This will change, but I can't tell you when. I don't know. We're going through a transition, if that makes sense.
But is it transition because of the time of year? Because people are reflecting on their life? Because, I mean, everybody wants to have a reason why the bad. Very few people have reasons why the good.
I can't say it's the time of year, Freddie. I'm getting that. No, it's something that's going on. It's ongoing. We may be more aware of it now because we're trying to find happiness. It's coming to the holidays. So we want to feel happy, but a lot of people are feeling guilty about feeling happy. No, we need to feel for ourselves our blessings that we have today. We also need to send positive vibrations for all the negativity that's going on. I think it will reveal itself, but right now it's confusing. It's very confusing. I can't say anything else. It is what it is right now. But I believe that's needed to happen. You know, sometimes out of bad comes good, and that's coming to me. Out of bad comes good. I can't tell you the good, and I can only tell you, unfortunately, we see the bad that's going on. But everything has a purpose in its time. That's what they're telling me, in its time. So just try to hold on. Let's celebrate the holidays as best we can. Let's not feel guilty about celebrating the holidays. This has been going on for a long, long time. It's getting to our holiday season. No matter what faith you are, we need to do this. It's very important to uplift ourselves.
So do you see next year being a more positive one than this year?
Again, that's a difficult question, and I don't want to be the voice of so-called doom. No, I think that this is going to go on a little while because I keep getting the word transition. We're going through a difficult phase right now, but out of bad will come good. I can't give you a time limit on it. I can't. But as long as we can lift our vibrational energy to see some good that is happening, there is good. There's good people around. So just let's try the best we can to live. I'm not even going to say positivity. You know, I preach positivity. Lift our vibrational energy as best we can. It's a holiday season. It's time to celebrate.
Well, some people have told me that I should surround myself by positive people. But the holidays isn't really built around that kind of cliche, because you're supposed to spread good cheer and try to help people get out of their doldrums. So the question I have for you is, avoiding negative people better than avoiding people, or do you just go forward with whatever comes?
There'll always be negativity, even when everything is going right. There's always the opposite side to positivity, so that brings in negativity. But let's just go on and celebrate what we feel. I mean, birthdays come around, all sorts of things that we have to give thanks for what we have. And the more we feed into all this negativity, it doesn't make us happy. We need to feel that there's something to rejoice for. The holiday season, the lights, anything that you see that might uplift ourselves. Let's try. I can't tell you that we're all going to do this. Of course not. But let's try. Let's try to be thankful for what we have today. That's really, really important.
I believe that the negative people need our positive message even more than the other positive people that we come in contact with. I've always said that if you see someone without a smile, give them yours.
Oh, I love that.
So I think don't shy away from negative people. Try and turn them around.
So, Steve, in your case, do you believe that you shouldn't look at people, whether they're positive or negative, just be your positive self and let them absorb whatever is needed?
Absolutely. I think if they can take whatever message you're trying to give, and help themselves from what they see in you or hear in you, that's wonderful. If they get nothing from it, well, it's not for lack of trying.
And also I feel, Steve, that we're all on a journey and we're at different stages in our life. Sometimes we see the good where someone else isn't, and this is crazy, but they're telling me they may not even want to see that good because they're at a point in their life where they're meant to be learning that particular lesson, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So as we go on our journey, as long as we, it's all about love, okay? We spread the love as best we can. And to the point that people will go, oh my God, stop saying that. But that's okay. We're still sending good vibrations out there.
Absolutely.
So we continue to do that. For people that may understand this, and it took me a while to even understand that, to say always with a smile on my face. But my saying is fake it till you make it. And I believe that's very important. Mm-hmm. That's the way we can change a little bit of what's going on.
Do you two share that special bond during the holiday season, or is it different than what you shared that led to your marriage?
Well, I think it's just in general, we try to be as positive as possible no matter what's going on in our lives. And I don't think it has anything to do with the holiday season or not. It's just the way we live our lives. That the holiday season finds its way, into our lives because of all of the, the TV programs and movies and or the surroundings. But that just aids in helping us be positive. If we can get a positive message from the holiday cheer that's being out there, but we don't change the way we look at things based on the season.
Yeah, that's very well said, and I agree with that completely. But somehow it becomes more prevalent when the holiday season is around because people try to put a smile on their face. But on the other side of that, the holiday season can affect people in many different ways too. So
sure, the holiday season could affect people negatively if they're missing people that they spent the holidays with who are no longer with us. But we can always talk to those people, even though they're not with us anymore.
Absolutely. And as we have proven over the couple of years now that we have known one another with us, we've had a lot of vibrational. We've had a lot of things that have been. We ask a question and we seem to get the answers.
We get tremendous validation every day of our lives.
I couldn't think of the word, validation,
right. Yes. Just in everything we do, from you thinking of something and in a millisecond, I verbalize what you're thinking. That's validation that we're on, a higher vibrational energy together.
Absolutely,
than many people.
It works, Steve, and you can attest to that too. Yeah. It really does work, and we're going through maybe a little bit of a difficult, not us, but what's going on right now.
No, us.
well, it's us, but
Yeah.
you know, it is for us. But
Right.
again, as long as we keep a positive attitude with anything that's going on, I don't want to say us as we're having problems within ourselves. We're not.
no,
But
no.
let's say health issues right now, and it's important that we remain positive over this particular time. It's very, very important.
It's the only way.
Absolutely.
We won't be able to defeat what's going on if we're negative about it.
Right.
Negativity breeds bad results.
Yes. So whatever it is, we can, you know, people say, well, can you change certain situations and circumstances? I believe you can. I think you can. If you keep that positive outlook, we'll see the reasons why certain things happen. That's just who I am today. Was I always that way? No, absolutely not. But over the last 18, 19 years, I've had so much to validate that. So I do believe that things happen for reasons, bad and good. We may not always see it, but it happens for a reason.
Something that Steve said I find very striking, that you miss people. Like I miss my parents. I miss my brother, the memories and everything else. But something Steve said, you could still communicate. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Absolutely, Freddie, yes. You know, of course you have to believe that you are. I talk, and I used to talk for many times to people that have passed, and I thought, I'm not going to hear anything, whether they believe it or not, whether I believe it, whether I'm going to hear. But you know, over the years, I see, and we've had so much validation that they are listening. They are listening to us. I think we're cutting for a commercial. He just went zero.
I don't think so. Cousin Linda's watching, and so is Tracy Latome.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Your
Hi,
cocktail
Tracy.
concierge.
Okay.
Okay?
Hi, nice to hear from you, Tracy.
And Linda.
And, well, of course, Linda goes without saying, but Tracy's been a little while, so it's nice to hear from you. Linda, you follow us, and I know that, but I don't take it for granted. I thank you very much for listening.
Yeah.
Either one of you have any questions right now?
I think they're straightening that out.
No, we're good.
Are we good? Okay.
We're good. You keep going.
Okay. Tracy or Linda, is there something that you'd like to maybe type, or can they talk to us from where they are?
They're sending you hearts.
Oh, that's
Okay.
very nice. We need that.
Okay.
Lovely.
Well,
Thank you.
while we're waiting for a question, I'd like to mention you've produced a lot of artwork, and you've been dormant for a few years. And just recently, you picked up the paintbrushes again, and you created something amazing, which maybe next week we'll show that. And that particular painting, you know, it started out to be kind of a blank canvas of just lavender, and then you painted over that and painted over that, and now that it's done, there's like 100 different creatures and people, and just how does that happen? Because you don't sit down to paint these things. You paint, and then all of a sudden, oh, look at that. Look what showed up in my painting.
I'm as surprised as you, Steve. I don't know. And I must say, I have had a little while that I haven't painted, but I did say, and I'll tell anybody, that if I go a few months, my artwork completely changes. In fact, we have two pieces of art here that are totally different that are up here on the studio. So this one is different to anything else that I've painted too, which I can't wait to get back to the one that I'm doing right now. I have no idea. I don't know. It's the same with my prose. It's the same with how I receive these messages. I just believe that they're helping me, and I wouldn't be able to do this without their help. I'm sure of that. So they help me with my art too. They say, go and change it now and do something different.
Sally, when people go to a psychic or a medium, can it be for anything? Because most people, am I going to find my perfect soulmate or the love of my life or business? But can you help guide them with just day-to-day, staying positive in difficult times, belief?
I believe you can, but you know, I heard this once said, and I very much understand this. It's not like we can, I've got a telephone and I can call you and tell you my problem, and maybe you can put your info. We can, it's not, we're not, they're on the other end of the line, so to speak, but they may not always be able to have that answer for you. But something came to me when I said this. I said, how is it possible? I asked a very similar question. So if the person on the other end of that has not got the answer, I believe that they can call people in from the other side that will then answer the question. It's like here, we don't have all the answers. They don't have all the answers, but there are people that they can call upon that will have an answer for you. It doesn't always happen, if that makes sense. That's my guide that's here right now.
They tell me there's, I don't see,
Cocktail concierge.
Cocktail Concierge. It's from Tracy.
Tracy. Hi, Tracy.
How's my new business going to do in 2024? It's been really exciting since August when we went live with our Facebook page.
Well, I think you know the answer. I think that you've put in, as far as I can feel, Tracy, some hard work here, but it is definitely going to pay off. I feel that it's going to pay off. Don't get upset, my word is, over the next maybe month or two. Keep going. It is going to be successful. It may take a little longer than you thought, but that's okay, because I'm hearing there is definitely a light at the end of this tunnel.
Nice. And then you have Leah, or Lee Ramsey. Hi, I'm new here. Would love some guidance, please.
Hi, Lee. Is there a question or just guidance?
I asked her to be more specific.
Thank you. Yes, we need a little more specific.
But right now especially, I think people need guidance.
Yes, they do.
Because it's a tough time. I mean, unfortunately, you both have lost children, and there are other people who have lost spouses and children, and you go through the holidays, and it's supposed to be so joyous. But there's got to be some difficult times. Can you, both of you maybe help people who are dealing with some difficult loss through this past year and how to keep the faith, stay positive?
Well, as our viewers know, we both lost a child. I lost my daughter, you lost a son. They want us to be happy. I feel that, because they hang around us, and the more that we're upset, the more they feel they want to help. So it's sad. You never get over the loss of a child, of course not. But my belief helps me tremendously to know that they live on. I get my messages, not only does my daughter give messages to me, and as you can attest on, she gives messages to you too. You did not know my daughter, but we've had tremendous validation on that. So I feel that I feel like now she's definitely around us, and she's going, tell them we're here, because she had a fantastic personality in this world. She has on the other side, and she certainly comes to you. And you give me validation. You did not know her, and yet you're able to tell me things that I didn't even know. And that I've found out since from her daughter, my granddaughter, that this is factual. How does this happen? There has to be more. There is more. So people on the other side do not want us to be miserable. They do the best to help us, to move on. We will see them one day. I have no doubt in my mind we will see our loved ones.
Yes. When we suffer personal losses like that, we're the ones that suffer. The people that we've lost are no longer suffering. So they're happy where they are. Hopefully we can deal with the fact that we don't have those people in our lives on a daily basis in front of us, but only in a spiritual sense. But they are out of their pain, and we should take solace in knowing that they're not suffering anymore.
And that's really important, Steve, because from my belief, from what I believe, is if they see us unhappy, they try to hang around us more to make us happy. We want them, just as they want us to move on, we want them to move on. So it's very important to just, tell them to move on. We can't not miss them. That's part of who we are as humans. But just know that they're in a better place. Well, they're in a different place, and they can still see us. And that we should move on with our lives. Never forget the love that we had for our loved ones. That's very important. Love keeps us all going.
Sally, I wanted to say, every time someone asks you a question, is it always good news, positive news, or is there sometimes negative news, and beware?
Well, no, there is definitely negative news, yes, because they're pretty truthful on the other side. It's up to the person that is able, not just me, there are many people that can contact people from the other side. it's a fine line here, because if you're given something negative and they want maybe for that person to know, for instance, let's make this simple. They're about to cross a road. You suddenly get a message. You need to tell that person there's going to be a problem if you're getting the message to cross a road at a certain time. But on the other hand, do we want to scare people? This is very difficult. I think it's very difficult for any medium or for anybody that's able to do this to give these the negativity of what they may hear to somebody else. I think you have to do it in the most tactful way, because again, a lot of what I have said, and I've had many people thank me for my information, it hasn't necessarily been negative, it's been positive, but we're not always certain that it's correct. So if you're going to tell somebody something that we feel that we're hearing, it may not happen. So it's a fine line, if that makes sense.
It does.
Tracy says thank you.
Thank you.
Because it's tough, and I know you guys are going through some tough things, and people think, well, if you're connected to the other side, why do bad things happen? Are there ways to help rationalize that?
Yes, there is, because we're on a journey. We're all on a journey, and we're all in different stages to our journey. Our journey, as far as I can make out, we want to graduate. We want to graduate and get to the next level. But just like anything else, or even when we're in school or college, we have to put in that work. And if there's certain things that we haven't learned, we're going to be given those lessons time and again to learn it before we can graduate. So the nearer we are on this particular earth right now to graduate to another level, we're given harder. I believe that. We're given harder things to understand and learn so that we learn. Because if everything was the way we wanted it, how are we going to learn? It's the same as if you're in college and everything is so easy, you sail through it. You don't want to do that. You need to understand it more. So it's the same thing, basically. We're given harder lessons the nearer we are to graduation. That does apply. I just made it very simple for me.
Interesting. Because we were talking, I guess it was last week in the studio, on being grateful for what we have in life. Because not everyone gets to be in this lifetime. So one of the producers were saying, think about all of the genetic codes, all of the different genes and how they could come together, but they don't all become human beings. But yet, if we're here for a reason, because they were able to join and our souls came and here we are. So we should give grace and be thankful that we're here for whatever this journey is.
Absolutely, Dawn. And as you were saying that, the same words that you are using, I wanted to say too, but I wasn't going to interrupt you, and here you're saying it. Just to be here is a blessing. We may not see that. We're all in this, whether it's mess, whether it's joyful, we're all in this together. And yes, there's different personalities. We have a personality, each one of us. There's good, there's bad, there's indifference, there's love, there's hate. But these are all reasons that we're here to learn. So if everything was all love, but we wouldn't see anything else. So we have to each have a little part of that within us. And then as we continue, we'll learn more. And my belief is, and again, not everyone has to believe this, but I believe we keep coming back until we learn our lesson. We've heard that people say that, but may not just be that one lesson. We keep coming back till we've learned our lessons, and there's an S at the end of that, which is very important. And then we graduate. And then, as far as I know, we go to a higher dimension where things do become easier. We still have the same reasons that we're there to learn, but it just makes it a little easier as we graduate from dimension to dimension.
But Sally, some people, you can tell them to do things. They do them. They work out, and they continue to make the same mistake over and over again. So you're constantly giving them a better path, because you have to always give choice. I understand that. But you give them these choices and they continue to do and make the mistakes. And then they rectify it and it works out. And then all of a sudden they come back and there's the mistake again and again and again, especially with human nature. How do you address that? How do you tell people, learn already? I mean, how many times do you have to commit the mistake before you settle down and say, okay, let me learn from what I've done wrong.
Well, not everybody even understands that. They keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again. And yes, what you said, Freddie, is very accurate until they learn. It can take a couple of lifetimes for them to learn that. But the key is to maybe begin to understand that there's reasons that these things happen and that we can change it around. Learn by, it's a saying, learn by your mistakes. That's very true. Learn by your mistakes. We're not perfect. None of us are perfect because we wouldn't be here. We'd be on another dimension. We're here to learn from our mistakes, and it takes longer with some people. But the moment you begin to understand this, you can question yourself and say, well, why does that keep happening to me? At least you're questioning it. So then when that same thing might be trying to show itself again, you go, I did that last time. Let's see if we can change this. And change it a little bit. Eventually it'll be perfection for that particular thing.
And when people dwell in whatever problems they're having, whether it's a health problem or relationship problem or career problems, there's an old saying, when you're up to your ass in alligators, it's oftentimes difficult to remember that your initial objective was to drain the swamp. And I think people stay in that swamp and they make no attempt to get out of it. So you have to look forward and attack things in a more positive way.
And the fact that when you begin to realize that the same thing is happening, you begin to question yourself and say, I've had enough, I'm done with this situation. But you've got to mean that. And as soon as it starts doing the same thing over again, we need to change that, right?
Yes.
It's like when people, they keep having a relationship and they'll go on to the next relationship, and I'm sure a lot of people relate to this. It's the same things, the same person, a different person, but the same situation again. You need to break the cycle. That's basically what it is, to then say, I'm done with this. Right. It's interesting.
Commercial?
Yes. We're just going to break for a commercial for a few minutes, and we'll both be back. Sally and Steve. This world, this life, this illusion. What is going on, we ask? What is happening? Why not take time and see what is happening? This world as we know it, it seems so real and yet so far away from where we've come. Corruption, greed, anger, power, revenge. Please wake up. We can change what is around us. How, we may ask? Learn to go back to where we were. Then we will have the clues. Then we can change and go forward. Please take the time. Do not fall into the game which we have put upon ourselves. We can change. We can make a difference. We have the power, each and every one of us. Go in peace. Go with love. Go as one. Zena.
A true story, Call Me Zena, is the telling of Sally Bernard. Born in London, England at the end of the Second World War, she came to the U.S. in 1979. A mother of two and grandmother of four, she settled in Florida and worked in real estate. While going through a difficult time in her life, she was admitted into a hospital overnight in December of 2005. While settling back into her life, she began having vivid dreams and documenting them. By the third dream, a lady gave her a message to draw. With no artistic background or interest in art or history, Sally listened to her dreams and grabbed paper and crayons. Today, she has over 150 pieces of inspiring art and poetry. This book follows her journey and interpretations of these messages. She describes in detail how she's able to astral project and who she has met along her travels, including her spirit guides. This book will show you how anything is possible with an open mind. These events have changed Sally's life's direction, and this book will show you how to change yours. Purchase Call Me Zena on Amazon today.
You have been watching Call Me Zena with your host, Sally Bernard. As an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer, know that you could always seek me out for resources. Visit artbysallybernard.com today. Now, back to the show. Hi, we're back. Okay, I think Steve is getting ready maybe to read another one of, believe it's called Prose. And it's very, well, what we were talking about. I wrote these prose going back about 12, 14 years ago, and I had no idea what I was writing, but it's bringing it forward today makes so much sense.
This one is called Humanity. It's one of my favorites. Here lies the question: what, where, and when did we come to be? A puzzle. Can we find the answers? Oh yes, we can. Look within. We have always been since time began. How can we not remember? Because, my friend, we do not question. Ask and you receive, so difficult yet so easy. A newborn baby, what a joy, so innocent, yet it knows so much. We have been taught to complicate our lives. Or have we been taught to complicate our lives? I think not. We have such knowledge. Look within their eyes, and yet life will take its toll. We as humans cannot yet comprehend the answers. Look and you will see, talk and you will hear, dream and you will travel.
Thank you. And this is bringing tears to my eyes because I've never had anybody else read this before. And I'm getting a deeper meaning of what I actually wrote all those years back. It's important today to spread this to other people. I was given these messages. It's not just me. I would not have known this. I was given these messages many years ago.
You both are coming up on your 1-year anniversary, so happy anniversary, newlyweds.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Another 14 days.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And obviously not knowing anything that's going on with you now that you knew then. Do you feel like, has it changed for both of you or the past year on coming together? Sally, you lived independently for a long time. Steve, I don't know how long you were. But being married now at this point in life, different?
It's a challenge, but it's all good. I say that because when you've been independent for a while and then you have a person, anybody comes into your life, it could even be a child, things adjust. But yes, we
Can you
found
expand on the challenge part?
No, I'm just joking. It's different. No, absolutely. And you know that I'm joking about that. No, it's good. You know, to be able to share your life with somebody, it's great. But we have, you know, you don't, I mean, I'm sure there are many people out there that are living on their own, and that's fine too, because everything has a reason and a timing. It was my time and Steve's to join together and be together. If this had been maybe 5, 6 years ago, it might not have been my time. But I think when it feels right and you have love, then you know you're on the right direction with somebody. We're not all meant to share our lives with someone. I was on my own for many, many years.
Not everyone is fortunate enough to be brought together with someone else the way we were brought together by Aldo, certain other circumstance. You know, Aldo, if your audience doesn't remember, passed away on my birthday of 2021, and in February of 22 we're together. You know, so many things that have happened over the course of this last almost 2 years that we're together just has told us that we were supposed to be together.
Absolutely. I mean, but then again, it's our timing too. Had we have maybe gotten together maybe 7 or 8 years ago, you were not ready. I was not necessarily ready, but we've had such validation today of things that have happened. With what I've said, I mean, I'm able to ask you this, you were not the believer that you are today, but through the validation, correct, that how could you not believe this, right?
That's
It's so
correct.
much.
But maybe you being married after just a year and now all the things you're going through, there's a reason they brought you together.
I do believe that.
To support
too,
and love
you know.
each other maybe. And
Yeah, there's a reason for everything. We don't always see it, and you know, I can certainly tell you I don't always see it. And I go, oh, what, this is happening again? But as I had said just a little while ago, there are reasons. It's how we accept it. It's very important to see that. Do we accept it and say, poor me, I'm going through this again? Or do we say, well, let's see the reason for this? We question that a little bit sometimes, and it's not easy. None of what I'm saying is easy, and I know that. Especially, you know, when things happen, you keep saying this keeps happening. But if you continue, and I truly believe this, to say, why does this keep happening to me? It keeps happening. I believe it will still continue. But if we sort of question whatever it is and say, I've had enough with this, I'm done with it, okay? I'm going to look at this positively and understand why this situation is happening to me. We have something to work on, and it's really important.
I wanted to ask a question for the two of you. Have each one of you learned something from one another and from yourselves being together?
I'm going to ask you to answer that.
Yes, I learn almost on a daily basis from you, Sally. I see things so differently than I ever saw them before because of the knowledge that you have imparted to me about spirituality, nothing religious, but spirituality, and not that there's anything wrong with religion, but things that I never knew existed before, and all of the validations that we've gotten at certain, junctures of our relationship, and almost on a daily basis. So I've learned a tremendous amount, from you, and about how I see things in life.
Yeah, and I can, to me, sometimes I'm more surprised than you in certain, I say, can you believe that? Look what just happened. And he's looking at me like, what are you talking about? You believe this? But I used to do that when I had Aldo around me as my guide. And I used to say, how does this happen, knowing it could? And he used to just look at me too and say, it's to be expected. We've had it in the studio. Dawn, we've had a lot of communication together here. I seem to get more like, oh my gosh, look what happened, than anybody else. They just say, well, it happens. But I never want to lose that, because to me it's very important to get that.
Your guides are pretty strong. They want you to have a message. They want you to have a message. That happened over the weekend. And I put it aside on Friday, and then by Saturday, they're, nope, you got to tell her.
Yes, we did have a message about something that I was doing and that you were doing. And I, without going into the whole story about what it was, I was using something. Let's say it was something that I was using. And I was getting like a negative feeling about keeping on taking to do this, not to do it anymore. But everything told me around me that it was the right thing to be taking. But I said to myself, there's something about this, I'm not meant to be taking it. You call me the next day, Dawn, and you tell me not to take it. You had the message from my guides. You can't make this up. I said, but I had the same message the day. In fact, I think we had it the same day. You just didn't call me right away. So I stopped taking it.
Because I've learned, and maybe because you do this for a living, when they have a message, you can quiet them for a moment, but the message is that strong, they're going to come back.
They will keep coming back. It could be through somebody. It could be a sign that you can see. You may switch on the television and see something that will give you the answer. I've had that many times, actually. I believe Aldo does that. The key is to look, as I say in my prose too, and listen. Even if you don't believe it, the signs will be there. They'll try and they'll try.
Do you remember when we found the studio? We ignored the message the first time. We ignored it the second time. By the third time, it was like pulling the carpet. We said, okay, we got it. And here we are.
They won't stop.
They don't stop until you listen to what they have to say.
And we can, we don't always listen. So we'll continue to get it, but we'll just say, oh, it's nothing. But it is. It's something.
But then obviously, I just got another phone call, and there are so many changes. It's been nonstop since Friday. And sometimes I'll sit down and try to figure out what is it that I'm doing wrong, because it's consistently over and over again, challenges and more challenges and more challenges. And the funny thing is that these challenges are coming about because these different things that they're talking about are going in a positive direction. If they were going in a negative direction, I could understand it. But when they're going in a positive direction, it just makes me scratch my head. This is why I asked if the two of you had learned something, because maybe it's something that I should have learned, I should have seen, I should understand, and I'm not getting it.
Well, we all learn from each other. We even give ourselves and other people messages. We sometimes don't even realize we're doing that. And I think with us, Steve, we've had so much, and we do have challenges. We've got challenges right now. But are we just going to go into a shell and say, oh, this is nothing, we can't do anything about it? I think we need to do some things about it and understand why we're going through this sort of thing, right? So we all take it in different ways depending where we are on our journey. We can have a lot of negativity keep on happening, or positivity, and just ignore the whole thing and just go with it. But I think it's important also to see more what's going on and read in between the lines, so to speak.
It's interesting because you learn a new lesson in various ways, I guess. I guess that's the easiest way to put it.
Yep.
And I know that Steve and you have gone down this journey. Has the two of you created alternatives to what you think you are going to be doing in the future? Has it changed?
I'm going to let you answer that,
Well,
Steve.
that's an interesting question. I think we've just been anticipating what the future holds for us in several different areas. Specifically, we've been waiting for Sally's book to be ready. And that book seems to be the stumbling block in moving forward and what our goals are and what we want to do with Sally's artwork, with the rest of our lives, and with promoting Sally. I think the book being delayed as much as it has been has kept us from realizing some of the things some of the goals Sally has. So.
Well, do you think there's a reason that it keeps being delayed?
I
Because it's
do
not
now.
just delayed, Steve. There's something behind the delay that's delaying it.
I feel, and Aldo always used to say to me, my first book was just like a documentary. It wasn't like the second book's going to be. But he always said to me, there's going to be a second book. I then contacted, if anybody saw my last show, Gino. And we didn't have him write the book. He was waiting for the book to continue with the movie. But now I see that there was a reason. Unfortunately, and if I could bring Lynn back, I would, who was my editor, but he passed away. But I believe now that it's very important for my story from the book go to the guy who is Gino, who's going to be rewriting the movie. They needed to be the same. Well, at this point, I'm not saying that Lynn did anything wrong because we're going through that. But for right now, he needs to be doing both, the book and the movie. And I feel that very comfortable that the two are coming together by the same person at this point in my life. If you'd asked me when Lynn was around, no, Lynn did a great job. That was different, but things changed. So now we see that there is a purpose now to move forward with the same person doing the book and the movie. So
The two of you were talking about the 2 chapters, I think he said, which you found refreshing and different. Could that be the reason why? Because all of a sudden we have a different approach to what you were planning on doing over a year ago.
Well, Gino, who's now writing the book and the screenplay, and he's doing it together, has a different outlook. He's been a big fan of Sally from the very first time they were in contact. But Gino is a professional in this industry. His credentials are varied and great, from directing the 72nd Academy Awards to producing movies and other projects. So I think this delay came about so that we can have Gino be part of this and have it done in a more professional manner to what we need.
and it's the same with anybody. If you're going through, not to just personalize it, but people that are going through certain things and there's delays and it's just not happening, or whatever the cause may be, whatever the reason, I think sometimes we have to stop and evaluate a situation, and then it will change. It does change. Things don't stay the same. And sometimes that change, whatever, I mean, this is broad for everybody that may be listening, there's a reason for that change. And if we can look at that and see that, We can then say it could be a year later, it could be the next day, it could be 10 years later. But we'll say, you know why? Now I know why that happened. Yeah. And I think most people can relate to that.
And the important thing to remember is when you get hit with, roadblocks, never to throw your hands up and say, well, it wasn't meant to be.
Exactly.
You have to keep plowing through, the obstacles and make it happen. So.
Absolutely. And again, as I always say, try to be positive. Then we're putting ourselves on the road to positivity, even though bad things do happen. Of course they do.
Yeah.
Virgil from Manchester says hello.
Hi. Hello.
No question. Virgil is just saying hi.
Well, hi, Virgil.
From
Hi.
Manchester, England. How you like that?
Wow.
Aren't you from Manchester?
No, London.
No, I'm
London.
from London, actually, but I do know Manchester. Very nice to hear from you, and it's it's early evening there, right?
Virgil, if you have a question, let us know.
Please do.
So
From a
Sally, let
fellow
me
Brit.
ask you, what do my guides have to say for this week?
And who is this?
My
is
guides.
Your guides? Be patient, Dawn. Okay, please be patient, and I think you know what I'm saying, okay? Again, things seem that they're not working out right now in one particular thing for you. Again, positivity comes in. Be patient and you'll see the outcome. Everything that I've just been talking about actually is relevant to what I would be giving you as a message, okay? Things change. Change is important, and I think you know what I'm saying, okay? Things will change. But what you're going through with they're showing me one particular thing right now. Do not lose faith, okay? Please, they're working with you.
I say, God, we had so many signs that led us here, that we're here for a reason. And I think on our journeys through life, if we stop and we think back to what brought us to wherever it is we are, to remember that, then we're all going to be okay.
Absolutely, with anything. I mean, when you start seeing and hearing things and it's just not going your way, don't go with that flow. Change it and say, all right, it may take time. There's no time on the other side. But for us, there is time, and it can see an eternity till it changes. It will change. It will change. And even if it gets worse, it's ridiculous to say, but sometimes there's reason for that too, to learn your lesson. Not everything is going to be perfect in the change.
Change happens.
Change happens. It's very important, right?
My daughter saw a deer outside her classroom today. So she's a deer. So she's thinking, what does that deer mean?
I think it was an important message for her. The deer can't talk to her, but I think when she saw the deer, and ask her this, did she see the deer's eyes? I think she looked into, or the deer was looking into her eyes. I don't believe it was right on top of her, but it's a message of hope. That's what I'm feeling. That deer was a message of hope. Wasn't a bad thing.
No, it's not bad. She said, it's been there all day. What does it mean? I said, it means the deer has a message for
Hanging
you.
around her for a reason. Is the deer still near her right now?
Yep.
Okay, she needs to look in the deer's eyes without getting too close, okay? As she looks into the deer's eyes or the deer's into hers, it can be a distance, hopefully it should be, she will feel something. She'll feel something. Go with her first intuition of what she feels.
You know, it's amazing, the nature and all the things that God gives us. If we, again, it's another message or a sign that it's just something different, that there is a greatness besides just who we are.
And it's interesting because a deer, animals do help us. We get messages. We're around dogs and cats more than probably deers, but they're there. I mean, they can even take our pain away if we're sick. How does this happen? They're there for a reason. So it doesn't just stop with dogs and cats. We just don't get nearer the other animals that much.
You mentioned change a couple of minutes ago. One should never be afraid of change, because if there's one thing that is consistent in life, is that there will be change.
Nothing stays the same,
Right.
Nor should it, right?
And are you still astro projecting?
I am, but nothing like I was. Occasionally, yes, I am more today, and I don't always seem to remember it. I remember it like I do now. I remember from 15, 20 years ago exactly where I went in every detail. Today, it's not as for me, I remember parts of it, but probably not meant to. I was meant to then to catapult me into where I am today. So what happens to me today, I can still remember certain things, but there was something very much, I think I mentioned to you that I needed to remember. They were giving me a message and I forgot. So I should take what I tell people, write it down.
Sally, I got a question for the Studio Direct. What do you see happening in the new year for our studio?
In the studio?
Yes.
Okay, you're going through a change right now too. We were talking about change. Change is important. Change is important. So go through some of the things that you may have a slight doubt for, Freddie. In the beginning of the year, something's going to be given to you in a message through somebody relating to the studio. Your first what you're going to say, you're inclined to say, no, I don't want to do that. It's going to be in February, but that person who's giving you the message will come back into the studio and present the same thing to you. I'm going to say the second time, not the first time. Remember this, I won't. The second time this person comes in, it's a male figure, and they're going to present something to you. It's going to be in February. Look at it more, because I believe this is going, I can't tell you what it is, but it's going to be important. Your first response is going to be no. The second is listen to this person. I'm getting the letter A of the person that's going to come in. You don't know this person right now, in February. We'll see.
Letter A.
How's that make you feel?
Nervous.
Nervous? No. You should feel good. You don't have to necessarily do anything about it. But the message is that they think you should listen for sure. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, but it's
That's
the second
entirely up to you.
The second idea coming is always nerve-wracking.
The what?
The second idea of it coming is the nerve-wracking part.
Well, because this person knows that this opportunity is going to be good for you. You may not, in other words, what they're saying, you may not recognize it. You know, again, you don't have to do anything about it, Freddie. But if it's presented to you twice, and the fact that I'm giving you this message, you'll know when it happens. So look a little more deeply with the situation of what's going on. It's to do with the studio. It's nothing outside of here. It's something that they may want to do with you.
Interesting.
We'll see.
Stay open to possibilities.
Exactly. Yes.
And what do you think about 2024 as a whole
Um,
from your collective?
They're going to say, as we would say, we haven't reached our rock bottom yet. Things are going to get worse. It's a cliche before they get better. And unfortunately, it is going to get worse. But you know what? We can't, as a whole, we could probably change the situation, but everyone would have to believe that we could do that, and that's not going to happen. But we'll get over this. I can't tell you the time. It's not good. We all know that. Some of the things that you hear, you're going, I can't even believe this, okay? But it's happening. It has to get worse to get better. That's an old cliche, and I know we say it, but this is what's happening right now.
But we have to stay in faith that it will get better.
It will get better. I can't put a time frame on that, but it will. We have to go through a change. We can't continue going on the way we are. It's not good. Earth is an identity. It has its own identity. It is a spirit. It's hard to understand. It's hard for understand for me. But it rebels. Mother Earth is rebelling. Enough is enough. So we may see more things happening, climate change, all these things. I mean, things that are obvious, but we don't want to accept it, are happening for a reason. Enough is enough. Let's try to change.
And what are you doing for your anniversary before we wrap this up?
I don't know. What are we doing
we
for
were supposed to take a 12-day cruise, but that's been put aside for now. So we haven't discussed it yet.
No. Maybe we'll come here.
Definitely, we got to do something here.
Yeah,
It's on the 18th?
on the 18th.
Wow.
Yes,
Time
yes. I don't
flies,
even know
right?
what day that is. I don't know, maybe it's my show on the 18th.
2 weeks from today.
Oh, it is a Monday.
It is
Okay.
a Monday.
So, oh, not necessarily. Well, we'll work that out, yeah.
No, I think it is a Monday.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
2 weeks from
It's
today.
14 days from today. Today's
Okay.
the 4th, right?
Yep.
Well, that's
All right, we'll
funny
have to
that-
have an
no
anniversary party here
coincidences
for
that
you.
yeah, we'll do that.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Our first anniversary.
No
We'd
place
love
we'd
that.
rather celebrate than here.
Absolutely. I love it here. I love
We
it
need
here.
food. You can bring food, Freddie.
What did he
He
say?
needs food.
Freddie needs food.
Freddie, I promise you we will have food, okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And same time next week. And thank you, Steve, for being my guest once again. And thank you, Dawn and Freddie, for making all this possible, too. Thank you. Coincidence or not, it's time to trust your intuition and knowings. Thank you for joining me through this journey of self-discovery and awakening with the help of my spirit guides. I'm Sally Bernard, and you can find my book, artwork, and contact through artbysallybernard.com. Join us next week. This has been Call Me Zena.